So tonight I'd like to analyze and define, to explain what this human body or human life is. Because we have so many misconceptions, wrong ideas, belief about our life and our body. You know very well, Buddhism is known as doctrine of analysis. That means we never accept anything without analyzing. Without analyzing, we never get the real picture that which appears. To understand the formation, the situations, the nature, the characteristic, we have to analyze. When we analyze, the understanding that we gain can help us to avoid so many problems, worries, disappointment, unhappiness that we experience because of our misconception. That is why the analytical knowledge is important. Those who have practiced and studied Satipatthana meditation, the way how the Buddha has analyzed this physical body into 32 parts and the mind into 4 mental faculties, for us to concentrate, to understand how these things are functioning, remains, change, decay and disappear. After that, we can reduce unnecessary worries and fear and suspicion that we maintain. The common belief is that this life is created by somebody, because when we think by using our normal way of thinking without analyzing, it is very difficult for us to understand. There are so many mysteries. Human mind is not capable enough, incomprehensive, difficult to understand. Because of that, we create our own imagination. And some religions also explain in different ways that the formations, existence take place through the influence of some external supernatural living being. This is a common belief. It is not so easy for you to get rid of this belief, because your understanding is very, very limited. So you have to depend on somebody or some sources. We appear or come into existence, or we were molded or created either by somebody or some sources which are supernatural, not natural. Without using that word supernatural, we cannot satisfy, because we cannot do this. So we had to refer to supernatural power. According to the Buddha, there is no supernatural power. All these happening, occurrences, existence, changes are natural. When we cannot understand, then we think of power of supernatural living being who create, who change, who destroy. So, the more we develop your understanding, then slowly such belief may disappear. Then what is the advantage? What do we gain by knowing or analyzing or by giving definition how this formation takes place and what are the ingredients, what are the particles that which consist here in this body or in our life. Just now I mentioned, if we really can understand, we can avoid so many imaginations, misunderstanding, worry and fear. We maintain all these disturbances in our mind because we do not know. That is called ignorance. And that ignorance creates a lot of imaginations. These imaginations become concept, and later belief. After that, very difficult to remove these things from our mind. So far you have heard, life is nothing but combination of mind and matters. Again analyze mental groups and elemental groups. So we can go on analyzing. In the end, nobody, no man. The man completely disappears when we analyze. Now let us take one of our pictures, photograph. When we enlarge this photograph, say about 100 times or 1,000 times, you cannot see any figure there, no persons there, only lines. The person completely disappears in that picture. So analytical knowledge is for us to understand what it is, how formation takes place. So at the moment we create our own imagination, and this formation takes place due to combinations of four Mahabhuta, or dhatu. These are the words used in religious language. So divided into 28 features or groups in Abhidhamma. You know the meaning of Abhidhamma. Abhidhamma means analytical doctrines or the teachings of the Buddha, where we can find interpretations of mental faculties, interpretations of elements. This is called Abhidhamma. So here in Abhidhamma, this body, only elemental side, the form, rupa, form is called rupa. Rupa means the formation. So this formation is analyzed or divided into 28 groups. First one is called Mahabhuta or Dhatu, element. Later we can come to the mental side. 4 elements: Pathavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu. These are the Pali words. Pathavi, extension, growing. This we can see. Children are growing, expanding. The stones are growing, expanding. Jungles are growing. Trees. Everything that which exists, we can see this expanding, 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 growing and growing for a certain period. That is one particular element. That is the duty of this element. Hard, tangible, visible. Then comes the second item, Apo. Apo means fluidity. Fluidity or cohesion. Without fluidity, there is no cohesion. This we can understand when we want to make a concrete mixture. We bring stones and sands and cement, everything, but without water and no cohesion. This is the duty of fluidity. In our body, we have many kinds of fluids. The duty of this fluidity is to maintain cohesion, combine, join together. This is the second element in our body. Then the third element, Tejo, Tejas, heat. So amongst those 4, this is the most important element, heat, temperature. When the heat element separates from our physical body, death takes place. As long as heat element remains, death never takes place. When the heat element is no more, the other 3 elements also disintegrate, cannot exist. The heat is the element that maintains all the others. When you touch a dead body, you can see no temperature, departed already. Maintain all the other existing elements, the duty of this particular element. Then the other one is vayo, motion or wind, movement, breathing, inhale, exhale. This particular element support to maintain our physical body, the lungs, the heart and the blood circulations cannot work without this particular element, motions. So the whole system is maintained, combined together, exist together, work because of these four elements. But these four elements have no life. The same elements we can find in the plant life and other matters also. Again, when we come back to human body, then there are so many other particles we have to analyze besides these four elements. The next one is pasada rupa. Pasada means sense organs. These sense organs we cannot find. Very, very lesser degree of sense, one or two, you can find even in the plant life. One. That's also very lesser degree. But here we have 5 sense organs. Without these sense organs, this physical body can become vegetable, cannot function. Although the mental energy is behind, but the organs are functioning. Eyes, ears, nose, mouth and body. So these 5 senses must cooperate, work together with those 4 elements. We can understand the difficulties or problems when one of these organs is lost, out of order. How important it is. Third one is Vishaya Rupa. Food for these 5 senses. These 5 organs must have food. They experience thirst, very keen. They go on searching to see beautiful things, to hear nice, soothing sound, taste, smell, nice feeling. So these 5 organs or 5 senses grasp objects from outside as their food. Then the senses can satisfy. Of course, senses cannot satisfy, mind satisfies, but the mind uses these organs, senses, to gain, to maintain. Besides this food for our senses, we also need some other kind of food. Food for these five senses is not enough. Food for our stomach, for our body, then the food for the senses. Food for our mind. Mind wants to know, that inquisitive mind wants to know many things. When that mind gets the answer, then it will become food for the mind. That is knowledge. What is this life? What is this world? Why this world is like this? Why people are suffering? Why people are not happy? Food for the mind. Why people are fighting? So, as long as we live, there are many more things for us to learn, to understand. Food for the mind, not completed. Food for our consciousness. Food for the mind means the mind that which works with our craving to gain something. That is food for the mind. But food for the consciousness is different. What is this consciousness? I have analyzed and explained. The consciousness means the objects we gain through the senses enter into the mind. Again, the thoughts, ideas that we create in the mind, again reflects into the same mind. Besides this, there are three more mental faculties. The feeling that we gain, nice and unpleasant. This feeling also enter into this mind. Again, certain things that we recognize, understand. This is good, this is bad, this is useful, this is dangerous, this is poisonous. Anything that we recognize. And this recognition also enters into that mental energy. Then, a storehouse of consciousness in our mind, subconscious mind. All our experiences, habits, nature, our attitudes, mental attitudes, good and bad karmas. Again, focus, reflect. When all these things combine together, at that time, this particular mental energy is called consciousness. See the difference now. normal mental energy that we use through one of the channels or through one of our craving or attachments. And here, all these mental faculties, senses, imagination, thoughts, ideas, concept, belief, everything divert towards this area. Then it will become consciousness. A very, very rich mental energy. When we die, this consciousness is the one which departs, transmits from here. That is how we gain our habits and nature and character and karmic effect that we have committed in the next life. All are there in the consciousness, vijnana. See the definition. We do not know what is inside in our mind. We create our own imagination, that's all. We never study, never analyze, never think. Depend on belief and imagination. So these five senses, and again the food for the senses, then food for these mental faculties, all are working. See how many departments are there, how many sections are there. All are active. Then bhava, Astri bhava, Purisa bhava. No doubt, man and woman both are human beings. But when we analyze physically and mentally, from the medical point of view, psychological point of view, religious point of view, there are a lot of differences. We can see physically and mentally. Psychologists try to analyze nature of a man's mind, nature of a woman's mind. They have seen so many differences. They are not weaknesses, differences. So we cannot say that man is more advanced and man is more clever than woman. Not in that sense. Differences are there. Masculine and feminine qualities. Their movement, the way how they behave, the way how they work, the way how they walk and talk, you can see the differences very easily. Feminine qualities and motherly feeling of a woman you cannot see in the man's life. He got only fatherly feeling. So these two kind of feelings are entirely different. So, from the very beginning, when the conception takes place in the mother's womb, these differences also started from there, from the conception, not later. So, still there are many things which are unknown, difficult to analyze, but can see the differences. Two different sections, energies, are functioning in the man's body and the mind, and the woman's body and the mind. And the woman is more emotional, it is clear. Man is very rough and tough. Man is very rough and tough, that is also clear. Again, we can see certain women are also rough and tough like men, and some men also very emotional. I have seen many men who can cry for nothing, just like a woman. Well, from the medical point of view, I think doctors may analyze this because of the hormone secretion. The changes take place because of the hormone. But the religion has gone beyond that. Not only hormone, the mental attitude by nature. Again, when we analyze the size of the brain, weight of a brain, man's brain and woman's brain. You see, woman's brain is smaller than man's brain. Do you think that means that man is more intelligent than woman? Just because he got big brain? In that case, elephant must be the most intelligent living being in this world, because he got a very big brain. So we cannot measure the nature of intelligence on the weight or the size of the brain. When Albert Einstein, one of the most brilliant scientists, he also believed that there must be some sort of extraordinary formation in his brain. That is why he is very intelligent. He advised, or he has written in his last will, after his death, to take out his brain and keep in a laboratory and test, to find out whether there is any extraordinary formation in his brain. Yes, they have done this, but they could not find out anything extra in his mind. Normal human brain, that's all. So it clearly shows intelligence or wisdom have nothing to do with the brain. It's the development of the mind. So, there are differences, of course, in every religion. When they talk about man and woman, first preference is given to man, then the woman. According to Christianity, and God also created a man first, later a woman. When the man found out he is very lonely and no companion, the God had pity on him, then created a woman. Of course, he has done this by taking a rib from the man. That is their belief. So anthropology or science never support this kind of mythologies or dogmas. They analyze and explain unbiasedly without depending on mythologies or beliefs. And Buddhism also never tried to show any discrimination or superiority or inferiority differences. But differences are there. It is natural. Next one, Hadaya, heart. Heart-based. This is very controversial. Philosophical interpretation. From the very beginning, the heart is responsible for man's or woman's life. That is one of the basic or the most important ingredients. But there are so many other organs, kidneys and various other organs in our body, but religion just ignore all the other organs. Take only heart. The reason is, at that time they believe the mind is in this heart. Because of this belief, they have given this particular interpretations of place for our life. Of course, life depends on heart. That has nothing to do with religion. Why only heart? Liver also? Kidneys also? However, brain and heart both must combine together. The frictions of heart and brain create energy like electricity, engine and dynamo, and joined together, the friction create electricity, that is energy. So in the same manner, when the brain and heart combine together, this friction produces energy. That energy is mental energy. That means without heart, at the same time without brain, it is difficult to create, produce, generate mental energy. If you take in that way, there is no controversy agreeable with the modern science, psychology, and with the Buddha's teaching. Because in the Buddha's teaching, it is not mentioned that mind is located in any particular area in our body. Then, Jivita Indriya, life current. Many people never think about this. Besides all these things, these elements and energies and various other features, the life current functions as an energy, and all the other factors support this life current to maintain. Elements create the formation to occupy, to accommodate life current. This is the house for our life to exist. Then the senses support this life current to maintain, to develop, sustain. Then various other organs in our body contribute in different ways to maintain our life current. So one day when we die, in that consciousness just now I mentioned, together with the mental energy, this life current also transmit. This we can understand, the nature of life current. When you separate a tail of a lizard, you can see how that tail, separated tail, jump and jump and jump and jump and jump. That is life current. So in our physical body, this current is functioning like this. So when you slaughter a chicken, many of you might have seen, but I have seen only once in my life. Only once. You might have seen more than 100 to 1,000 times. How this chicken jump and jump and jump and jump and jump and slowly. That is life current. That is life. This is not life, this is the house. So we look after only house, neglect the life inside this house. And that energy is one of the features there, among those 28 factors. Then, ahara, food, nutrition. So whatever we take as solid food or drinks, the nutrition absorb into this physical body and go through all sort of channels and here and there and divide as different vitamins or proteins and this and that to maintain this one. Without that also life cannot exist. So these are the 18 features just now I mentioned. There are few more. So when you analyze, we can understand all these things are functioning without our knowledge. We never give order for them to work, but they have their own duties. Now you know very well, lungs are functioning, liver is functioning, heart is functioning, and the glands are working, producing all sort of things and carry here and there. And when we cannot understand how these things work, who adjusted, who created this, no idea. Easiest way, God created like this, then no problem. But to many people that is not the answer. But majority can satisfy because they cannot understand. How nice if God created another heart. When one goes out of order, the other one, why it is not like this? There is no difficulty for God to create another heart. These are the problems. Then come to another area. Akasa. You pronounce this Ankasa. It's a Pali word, Sanskrit word is Akasa. A space, air. In Indian philosophy, the way how they analyze these elements, Pathavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, Akasa. So they have five elements. So the space also they have taken as one of the element. But the Buddha did not accommodate a space into this group until Albert Einstein explained this. People could not realize this. According to the relativity, when you analyze two things, a space and time, in reality there are no such thing, they never exist. There is no such thing as a space, there is no such thing as time. According to our own measurement, we create time and space. If there is no sun, how are we going to measure the time? We say day and night because of sun. So in reality there is no such thing, but we have created this for our convenience. A space also, in reality there is no space. By depending on something we point out this is a space. So space is important for these elements to expand, for the formation, for the structure. Otherwise, there is nothing, this space, to contribute to maintain our physical body. Just allow. But here regarded as one of the important features for the formation or the existence of a life or the physical body. Then the next one is viññati, expression. These minor things we do not take seriously, but this is also very important. To express, to convey our ideas. A speech, words, is not action. Now we can talk, we can convey our ideas without talking. No need to talk anything. We can do everything without using even one word. This is another feature. Action through our physical body is not sound vibration, the word, a speech. This is also one of the features amongst those 28 factors. The other one is vikara. Vikara means when we analyze this physical body, we can see certain things are very soft, certain things are very hard. Like, say hair, sorry, it's a mistake. So when you touch your hair, you can see it's very, very soft. When you touch here, very tough, bones. And the mouth, there's a hole. Ears, nose. So the formation has taken place in such a way to maintain different qualities. This is another feature. If all are very tough, it becomes very difficult. If all are very, very soft also, no use. Next one, lakkana. Lakkana means characteristic. Now we have learned how the formations, accumulation, sustenance or maintenance and cohesion, expansion, all these things, how these things take place. Here, a characteristic of all these existing things appear, exist, change, decay, die, disappear. Remember, there is no such world in any part of the universe where these universal or natural characteristics are not functioning. Otherwise, no existence, no life, no element. If they exist with the elements and energies and mental factors, these are the characteristics. They appear, they exist, they change, they decay, they die, they disappear. Universal characteristic in every existing things. So one of the factors in this 28 group. We cannot escape, although we don't like it. So this knowledge, this understanding is important. When these things occur, take place, not to worry, not to cry, not to create trouble, face them peacefully, maintain healthy mind, because we learned these things earlier, that one day we have to see, we have to face them. It is natural. Then this knowledge helps us to maintain our mind without suffering. So these are the 28 factors or features analyzed and explained in the Buddha's teaching in Abhidhamma. So now we have no time to turn toward the mental side. It's only elemental side. Analyzed into 28 groups. Consist of all these 28 groups in our body, that what we take as life or body. Then later you can develop further and further. You gain more knowledge and more understanding. And you can avoid so many problems and worries and disturbances.